Hello, Mgtows. Hello, men. Go your own. Oh, let me put the sign up there. There we go. Go your own way. Go your own way. It's Sunday afternoon. This is 5 o'clock Mass. Sunday, and today we're going to talk a little bit about the passions. We're going to talk about love and hate, and we're going to talk about jealousy, and we're going to talk about dangerous emotions, and those dangerous emotions that the simp experiences, and that Mgtow seem to be impervious to now. And there are some dangerous emotions, and like it says in the low bar, you can look down in the low bar down there, and a lot of people get this confused. I often wonder when people come around what they're talking about when they're talking about the projection always is from them is us Mgtows hate, because hate is the opposite of love. And hate isn't the opposite of love. The opposite of love would probably be more envy, but it is the opposite of love is indifference. It's you're indifferent to it, you don't have it, and that seems to be slightly less. But we put these passions or emotions or things, philosophers call them passions, and we put them in categories. And when in a category of love, you seem to have love, hate, jealousy, envy, and those things. And then when you talk about a Mgtow, you seem to have indifference to all those things. So on one side, you have these things that are very are not good. Love is actually a sin. Love, all those things, these sins all seem to group together in the deadly sins, and they all start with one thing. They all start with love, and then there can be jealousy, there can be envy, there always is hate. You love someone, you hate somebody, but being indifferent to them things means that you're more of a Mgtow sort of person, and you're indifferent to it. You just you don't take these things too seriously. They have no effect on you. They don't. You're not feeling emotions to it. In these things make sense if you start looking at it in the way that they don't look at it. When you love, there's two separate kinds of love. There's this human love where we should love all animals and we should all get along and that sort of thing. And that's just sort of a light, fluffy kind of dispassionate sort of call for everybody to get along, and that's one kind of love. The one that they're speaking of is a deep down emotional passion that comes from inside and has to do with it has to do a lot with your personality and your emotions, and these things, when they transform out into the world, you love something. There's always an object to the love. Yeah, I love water. I love Kool-Aid. I love beer. I can love my dog. My dog probably can love me. You love a woman because she's an object to that. And that's where that science comes from. She's an object to that love. And with that comes these other emotions and everything. But when these people come around, they often relate Mgtow to what they think is the opposite, and what they think is the opposite is hate. Now, in the first love explanation, for the blander sort of love thy neighbor and love your community, and you can and it's sort of a generalized love, that would be the opposite of that would be hate. But in the other sense, where it's an object to, the love is indifference to it. The opposite or the antonym would be indifference to it. There's a lot that goes along with these, but most people have these things all screwed up in their head when they come around here. We see a lot of these things play out when we when we get attacked, we got attacked several times this week, and it seemed absurd to me why they were attacking us, because they were feeling some emotions towards Mgtow that we weren't doing what they want us to do. And what they want us to do is feel for women in an impassioned way. And most of us Mgtow are way beyond that. We're way mature about that. We don't feel those things in that way. Uh, they're very impassioned, but these are dangerous emotions, is what I wanted to get to. These love, hate, jealousy, envy, all lead to crime. They all lead to pain. They all lead to, and them are the group. If we put those in a subset of that group, and we started thinking about that subset and that group in general, we start thinking about the biology of it. We start thinking about what happens and how it's been hijacked by the government for slave purposes and slavery purposes and things like that. And we think about it wrongly. We think about those two things as love and hate, as antonyms, where they're opposite of each other, and they're not really opposite of each other when you take a deeper look. Indifference is the opposite of love. Envy would be the opposite of that type of love. Hatred would be the opposite of another type of love. And we don't experience these things as the same. There's probably 3, 4 different kind of ideas that blossom from this. But the simp is impassioned with his desire for that object. And if you offend that object, in his mind, is what we do is we offend that object instead of thinking about us he's actually thinking about us in a sexual way, and we offend his idea of that object because he thinks about that object in a sexual way, and we are different to that. And like I say, all this whole thing is about getting all these things under control, getting all your emotions and your passions under control, and your personality and your personality type will flourish. There's other things that go on inside the human than just this one horrible thing that seems to personify all the worst things in life. And all those things, like I say, all those things come around, and the worst things in life are free. You can have as much as you want, but the Mgtow is just indifferent to it. And that's where I wanted to start this, where the idea is corrected, and the idea of what we are talking about here is corrected. And hello, Joey, how are you doing today?
Oh, I'm doing good. Doing good. How you been?
Doing good. You said you just got a good power nap in, and
Yeah. Well, you know how these hotels are. I'm staying in a pretty good hotel, so
okay.
you don't even like once you close the curtains and the lights, you don't even know what time it is, right? Everything's just pitch dark, so it's great.
Yeah, they got great curtains in motels, and they can you can do that thing. I always struggle in my bedroom where keeping the light out, because it seems to be. It's just there's 2 windows, and I like put blankets over my. I was gonna buy some of those black felt things to put over them, and I probably should, just to keep the light out, and so you can have a more comfortable sleep. But you're on the road, so you're in. Are you in Vegas right now, or in a hotel in Vegas?
Yeah, around there, that area.
Oh, they comping you any?
No, I don't gamble as much as I used to. So I'm like,
okay, it's always nice. I used to get comped rooms all the time, huh?
That's I'm a low level guy now. Yeah, I'm betting $20 parlays. They don't. Yeah, so I'm just kind of just relaxing.
Yeah. So relaxing's nice, and it's Sunday, and I went out on a bike ride this morning, last night, to clear my head from the Mike Hart thing.
Yeah. I don't. It's just he's a pretty. You can tell he's not a dumbass, but he's just gives information. I don't think he understands he's giving out bad information.
Yeah, he's giving out bad information. He wants you to. He just. It's like religion. He wants you to have his ideas, and his ideas are kind of screwed up a little bit, aren't they?
Yeah, I forget. I'm trying to think about what his main points were. I think it's like, okay, so he was pretty much saying that you just haven't found the right fit for you, right?
You just haven't found the right thing, and if you,
Female fit, yeah, or
yeah,
yeah,
just run through them, and you can find. Eventually, you'll find the right fit.
yeah, yeah. He doesn't understand all women are like that. Like he doesn't understand that concept. They're all the same at the end of the day, at their core.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. Basically, biologically, and the emotions they display are basically all the same. And once you've seen one, you've seen them all, and that gets old dealing with that. Unless they're very mature, it just gets really old. Hey, we have Barney brought a dildo. in the,
Yeah, I'm gonna put him in a timeout. I
yeah,
don't. We don't need to see that. I mean, I should kick him out. I don't like that name.
yeah, you know, like that.
I'll put him
Yeah,
in a timeout. I don't know.
yeah. What do we think of Kevin? Who's Kevin Samuels?
He's some life coach guy for women. He's this metrosexual type guy. He's
Oh,
like $5,000 suits and $25,000 watches, and bragging about how much money he has.
oh, cool, cool.
He tries to present this image of him being super successful, and he can lead these women into these traditional conservative marriages, and then they're like, it'd be great. And so RP and JK and I, it's kind of entertainment, but we just watch
So,
these women just continually lie like as they're talking to him. But he's pretty much just a life coach guy, trad cuck life coach guy. Yeah, pretty
yeah,
much.
Rick says he's got that handled if it gets out of control. uh, yeah, that seems to be an absurd. This advice that they're always giving us is just give out, and their advice secondary to that is given is just lie to them about what you are, and or you have to be the alpha dog with total success and everything. I don't do bad, and I know you don't do bad. It still doesn't mean nothing to me because I am indifferent to that thing.
Yeah, yeah. Well, one thing I do like about Sam is at least he's honest. He says, "I'm here to make a lot of money," and at least he just comes up. At least he's a little transparent when it comes to that. Because
Yeah, we all like to make more money and figure out how to make more money and all those things. And but one thing that works for one person, he's probably young and he's still got youth on his side, and so there's a lot of factors that go into that: genetics and youth, and your personality types, and what you're saying is you're just leading people on to make money, and that's a
yeah,
lie.
yeah, he hasn't done like the work you've done with the all the people you've studied, all the philosophers and all the and even just looking at the facts, the
Right.
information that we see about what happens with relationships and understanding women. Like he lives in a fantasy fiction world, essentially. Is what he does. There still can be, there's still, like, he gives people false hope. I think that's what it comes down to, right? He
Right.
gives them hope that this marriage thing, if women just understood their roles, that things could work out. But that's not, it's not accurate, right?
Yeah, I was trying to find what there was another topic I wanted to bring up, and I had put it down there, and but we talk so much that it's way up on the.
Yeah, RP's getting mad at me because I don't know that guy. I never saw his name, so I was just thinking he was a troll, this Barney guy. But I don't know. Whatever.
Yeah.
I just let it go. I let it go. No big deal. But yeah. So where were we? So we're talking about this. Yeah. So these guys. I think this false hope thing is a pretty bad idea. But let's focus on your topic, dangerous emotions, and
Yeah, dangerous emotion, because that's where we get in. We get in with the simping. I think the other topic that I was thinking about was Western, really, the positive thinking. There's always a lot of positive thinking with them, and you know what I think about that. It's positive is untruthful. sometimes. Most of the time is untruthful. You're being dishonest. There's certain there's a certain dishonesty in that, and you're deceiving yourselves and you're deceiving others about positivity, and that's what we get with the life coaches. And you know how I feel about that. When Kant says a lie makes other people a slave to that lie,
Mm-hmm.
and that's generally what they do. And today's topic is just the dangerous emotions that simps feel, and simps are dangerous. But when we look at the subsets of love and everything that would be logically in that category, there are a lot of dangerous emotions. There's jealousy, envy, hate, all those things. So where do you? I'm beginning to think that that love thing, that biological thing of love, as in biology, with is, I believe it's it's mimicry. It's what do I? It's you get bacteria in you. It's like she's getting you drunk and then taking advantage of you. Your oxytocins and that. So that kind of love that we're thinking about, and they're always thinking about, is a very it's a damning thing. It's like envy. It's like jealousy. It's like hate in that manner. So of course, why would they act correctly?
Yeah, I mean, there's no such thing as love. I mean, I hate to break that to people, but it's true because women are just looking at men as ATM machines, as resources, right?
Right,
So you're
resources
not
and
going to see you're not going to see a woman start dating a homeless guy, right? Like you're not going to see like an affluent woman dating a homeless guy in a long-term
right.
relationship,
Yeah, somebody
because
did do
like,
a video on that once. Was
yeah,
it funny? I thought it was. Somebody said like women are dating homeless. I think it was Angry Mgtow, and I thought, well, that's kind of weird. She would have to be one kind of stellar, sympathetic and apathetic, not apathetic, empathetic women to date a homeless guy, and that's
yeah,
generally
it's part of the bait and switch. I mean, love is part of the bait and switch that they trap men with.
right.
Love exists.
If she was
Yeah,
just looking at him as a tool, like a what kind of tool, like a just a piece of metal, and she's going to form it into something, into a useful tool. Yeah, maybe dating a homeless guy might work, but she's going to form it into what she wants, what
yeah,
kind of tool she wants. If she wants it to be a hammer, then it's a hammer. If she wants it to be a wrench, it's a wrench. And in that sense, she's just doing the same thing anyways. She can grab any one of the tools out of her toolbox, and men generally are tools in those situations. And he could be a little bit more successful or a little bit more successful depending on her biology too. Men don't date down.
yeah. And then women use love that word and concept to manipulate men, pretty much. That's what I've noticed, right? I had this girlfriend I dated for about a year, and she, like, towards the end of the relationship, I cut off the relationship, but towards the end, she kept
Mhm.
saying, "I love you,"
Love
and
you.
I would never say it back. I would just never say it back. I trusted her instinct, and it just got really awkward, like
Yeah,
love ya,
most people.
love ya.
I mean, yeah, please don't say that. It's like always been with me. Please don't say that because I don't think you have any idea what it is. And it's like
Right.
saying you want to kill me or
Yeah,
and that's
yeah,
and then I'm the object of your desire then. And I don't want to be the object of no one's desire. And then they accuse us of objectifying them. But really we're the object of their desire, and their desire is conscious by concern. Conscious by concern is simply you pay the bills, you're going to put her in a house and a car, and buy her a drum set or whatever she likes.
yeah,
And that would seem to be contrary to their idea of love. And it just it screws me up how it just, man, it makes my head hurt how wrong they have it. And then they
Yeah,
become,
well, Mike Hart doesn't get it. I mean, he's a young guy. I think he's probably around 30,
yeah,
maybe.
30.
So he's still, he's still figuring, trying to. Hopefully, he'll try to continue trying to figure things out. He'll come to the realization that he's, giving out bad information. But
Right.
there's a lot of responsibility. When you're doing a
Right.
YouTube channel and you're giving out information. That's
Yeah, it is
you
big responsibility what you're telling
yeah,
people around here. And,
yeah,
I always say it's like teaching. And any teacher, and you're a teacher, and I've taught classes, and it, anytime those kind of subjects comes up, it's abstinence is the best policy. That's the only thing you can say.
yeah. Playing it safe.
Play it
Yeah,
safe.
yeah, play it safe. Yeah, and yeah. It goes back to survival, self-preservation. You
Right.
cannot underestimate that, because if you do, you're a target. If you underestimate that, you're a target. You're going to make decisions that are going to be reckless, whether it's going out with a certain group of people, whatever. Believing stupid ideas like love, and that's
Hmm.
going to get you in a lot of trouble.
Yeah. So next time one of those guys come around and they start asking, I'm just going to ask, which one of these definitions are you talking about? Are you talking biological, sociological? Are you talking about a general, everybody's arm in arm and the whole world's getting along type of love? Or because you can't mix those things, and you can't use mixed metaphors in those, because then you're off the field with your with their analogies.
Yeah, it's a dangerous emotion. Yeah, love is a
The
well.
one,
I think that ties into what we always talk about. I made Dragon always talking about religion here, but it's all
right?
about that love, faith, and hope. Well, those are just concepts and words that are not real, and they cost people a lot of money. like
Yeah.
so the churches or the institutions, they're spreading all these ideas, but it doesn't cost them anything, right? It's just an idea, right? But they're charging all this money for those ideas. They're not a tangible asset. You're not getting a tangible, like if I buy like a block of cement or something, it costs a certain amount of money, right? If I
Right.
buy the cement, like I
Yeah.
actually own the asset, right?
Yeah.
But love, faith, and hope are not. They're just make believe,
Believe things or metaphysics.
not tangible assets that are sold, right?
Yeah, yeah. I wanted to go into how that thing happens, how they go and lie to themselves about those things and it's what we were talking about, being these false positives that they do. And I'll explain this a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll use the sports analogy and the Cleveland Cavaliers this year, and we're winding up the season, and all the sportscasters are telling us, well, here's all the good things from the season. Well, they barely scratched 289, and they're horrible. They're the worst team. They're one of the worst teams in the league, and they've been the worst team in the league for the year before and the year before. And what positive? And that's positive thinking. That's like, ooh, next year we're. And what they're doing is they're lying to you about this thing. They're not telling you the truth. They're not being honest with themselves, and they're being dishonest with you. But when we see this love thing, they're not telling themselves the truth. They're being dishonest with you. This thing could end up horribly, and that's what we say. 89% of the time, it's going to end up horribly. Them are statistics I would not bet on, and I wouldn't bet on the Cavaliers.
Yeah.
I mean, but when you get people that are falsely positive about that thing, and I know what they're, and this is why we get down to the fact. The fact is, you want to get that wet, and that's it. You're driven by a biological desire that you don't seem to have in control, and they don't seem to have that in control. So that's the driving force, rather than what they're presenting as these positive affirmations all the time, where they're just lying about what is going to happen. Because in the subset there's jealousy, hate, envy, and probably a half a dozen other things that they're gonna blossom once you take a female into your house. You're going to be having emotions all over the place. So it's a
Yeah.
lie.
Yeah, and then the physical harm that you get. I mean, my friend got punched, and he's been punched. I got
Right.
punched, a few months ago with this massage therapist, 200
Yeah,
pounds.
there's physical
I'm
altercation.
done. that
Well,
was the final straw that broke the camel's back. It's like, I because she couldn't understand English, and then she got mad at me because I didn't understand her. It was something, and I got punched in the chest. So like he and my buddy, and so whatever. That was so I'm done with I was doing some short term relationship type stuff, and now I'm done. I just don't even want to do that because it's just too
yeah,
risky. And
you
also,
become to it.
also I would say because I haven't been in a long term relationship in about 20 years, so it's like, and I've had opportunities, believe me. So I'm essentially with Mgtow in that regard. But like my buddy, like he sent me a picture like a year ago. Like he got punched in the eye. So all that emotional mental abuse is definitely real. But there's also when you start getting into the physical stuff, we hear stories about men getting killed by their wives or girlfriends, and you're
Right.
putting yourself in that spot with that too, because and then the first sign of, if any men are in that situation, the first sign of a physical abuse, you got to get out of that relationship because that could absolutely lead to you getting killed. There's no
Right.
question
That
about
could
it.
absolutely lead to you getting killed. And
Yeah, let's just call it out because it's real.
I know from personal
I've had a
experience.
friend who got hit by his wife and he defended himself, and
Oh,
she calls the police and he goes to jail. I mean, it
right.
happens all the time.
We talk about these things all the time. There's the Me Too thing. There's the when she does get sick of you. When my ex got sick of me, she so hated me, uh, and I think it was at one point she so loved me that it turned to hate, and we put that in those categories. Love and hate are the same thing, and she so hated me she tried to kill me.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's where those things lead. Unless you have to be a really mature person. And most of the time when I do see the really honest people, the really honest coaches, they'll say you have to be, they'll tell the couple, you're not emotionally ready for this, you're not mature enough for this, you have to be really mature to do that, live with somebody else, because that entails a lot.
Yeah, and then pretty much the message of guys like Kevin Samuel is it's almost like they totally disregard the male. Like they just assume the male's going to be a good slave, and yeah, you know what I'm saying? And he's pretty much coaches women how to manipulate men. That's pretty much what he
How to
does.
manipulate men,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, that's pretty much his whole thing. And but anyway, yeah, there are dangerous. It's a dangerous world. Like it's a dangerous thing when you're getting triggered by these things like love, faith, hope, or what jealousy, and what are the other ones you mentioned?
Yeah, envy, jealousy. There's hope in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
I don't know if hope's
yeah,
generally in the same category. It
yeah,
doesn't seem to logically. It doesn't seem to fall in the same category. Hope
yeah,
is more on what they do to people. It's what do I call that? That's Simpson's paradox is hope. Uh,
yeah, yeah,
rich people, they want more. Poor people have hope that they will get some. That's Simpson's
yeah, yeah.
paradox.
Well, Jeff and I were always talking about that indifference.
Yeah,
Like we thought that was a really good philosophy because you're just walking like this middle path.
right.
Like people, you know how Mgtow has, you know how you have that logo there and it's going towards the right, Mgtow going your own way and it's taking a right.
Yeah.
So I think Mgtow is more just going straight and you're just not even paying attention to either side. You're just going straight, walking straight. You're not even veering to the right or the left or whatever.
Yeah, you still have the
No.
same goals and ambitions in life.
Yeah.
You have the same desires, and you want to reach those goals and ambitions, and become the best person you can. But I hate that saying. Don't you hate that saying? You got to be the best version of yourself you can.
Yeah, the higher self, the higher self. Is that what they
Yeah.
call it? Yeah. I tell you what, I was thinking more about the whole spiritual world thing. I don't think it exists. I really think we've been totally gaslit as a
Yeah, we've been
human
totally
race.
the human.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure we've been gaslit on that whole spiritual, metaphysical existence. I think it's pretty much a bunch of nonsense.
Right. Yeah, and that goes along with a lot of the passions, with the things that we can't explain. And for years and years and years, now we can look under a microscope. We know what the brain does. We know how it functions. We can get dissections of it, see exactly what's lit up at a certain time. We can see. We know about biology. We know about the bacteria, pheromones, what they do to a man, and what they turn on They turn on those chemicals in your brain that it's like when a man goes around a woman and he starts taking in that excess bacteria, it goes through the blood-brain barrier. You can learn about aerosols. If you don't believe me, it goes through the blood-brain barrier, and then it those it lights up certain areas, and those certain areas produce chemicals, oxytocin. Uh, they produce a lot of those things. I can't remember all the names of them, but when a man is on those things, he's drunk. He's on drugs. He's been drugged, and that's why it becomes aggressive mimicry. The female pounces. She takes advantage of that drunkenness. It would be like taking a girl to a bar, getting her drunk, and then having sex with her. But that's what they do to us.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think like we talk about like just the DNA, right? Women's makeup, right? It's just because they're weaker than us physically. They're weaker than us in a lot of ways. So they have to figure out ways to compensate. So, how do they do it? Right. Well, it's through manipulation. It's through manipulation, right? It's through these emotional, these emotional attachments and saying "I love you." And boy, that's a dangerous thing. When a woman says she loves you, that's a real dangerous thing, because now she's introducing this false idea that you don't understand. Most men don't understand, right? You understand it, but I understand it because we know it doesn't exist. But like, there's men that actually think it exists, right? Oh, she loves me. Now I can sleep better at night. I can, whatever, cuddle with her and all this kind of crazy
stuff. Cuddle drugs, she's armed with a bag of chemicals. She's got a 12-pack of chemicals, and she's like, "Ooh, have some of this." And when you get all like, yeah, I do love you, baby. And that's taking advantage of you. And they do manipulate their arm. They're dimorphically smaller than us. We know that. We can lift more. We can run faster. There's a lot of things we do that we do better. But in that capacity, they're armed with a lot more than we are. And there's always this myth of male dominance. No, after you get a little bit of that in you, you're a simp. And then add the estrogens.
Mm-hmm.
Oh no,
you become almost useless to society. You become useless to the community too. Really, at the end of the day, you're not making the world a better place.
You're not making it a better place. Yeah,
no.
I know that's all for all for breeding purposes and that, and we have to go on breeding and everything. But like I say, men don't have babies; women do. It's it's then sexual cryptids. They want support from the whole community, and they get support from the whole community. I mean, and then the community, well, that's where the tenets of barbarism come. The community gives them a slave, and that's you. You're held by honor. You're bound by honor, by chivalry. These made up things: fatherhood, chivalry, honor, all those things that really, if you put it on this side of a scale and put a turd on one side, the turd would weigh more.
Yeah.
Things are nothing. I mean, it's important to the Mgtow to be able to say, no, this isn't a real emotion. This isn't a real thing. Honor is not real. Chivalry is not real. Fatherhood is not real.
Spiritual world is not real, because
the spiritual world
is not real. It's absolutely not real. Those are just made up ideas. They
made up ideas. So
there's no evidence for it. Yeah, there's no evidence for it. It doesn't, like, this whole thing about angels just means messenger anyway, but like angels and demons and devils and
there's no proof that these things manage our society any better than a naturalized society of non-contacted people would act. And I think non-contacted people act probably better. They seem to not be jealous. They seem to Yeah, they're not jealous. They're more logical. They're aware of the community, and they're aware of what's a woman's responsibility. I mean, when you add Christianity to most cultures, I mean, look at the horrible things. Judaism and
Oh
Christianity, Judeo-Christianity. I should say it
yeah,
right. Judeo-Christianity is what we were talking
yeah,
about.
yeah,
I mean, look what's going on over there now. It's disgusting. These people are animals.
yeah. It's all the religions, all these, even like the Gnostic, the whole thing. The whole thing's a mess. It's all fake.
Right. You could do it. You can
It,
take that same
it's
idea,
it,
switch all
yeah,
the words around, and take on a different sort of Gnosticism or Western esotericalism, or you can do it in Buddhism. But I think Buddhism and at least Hinduism, what I've learned, bases itself more in existentialism. But yeah, it's
uh-huh,
like
uh-huh.
in Pakistan they have a huge problem, and they're basically Hindu and Buddhist, and it's the same thing, just drawn up in a different in different colors.
Yeah, they want to create all this anxiety and fear and tension in people's lives with all these metaphysical ideas, that are no evidence. There's no evidence, and you just don't see, like, they have even like the UFO phenomena. A lot of that's just high level
Oh yeah,
military technology. That's all it is. It's just high
well,
level
if it
military
exists,
technology. They'll just throw it out there, and somebody, oh, I saw a UFO. No,
yeah,
you didn't. You saw high level military technology that's used to manipulate you into thinking you
right.
saw something that's from outer space. No, it's not from outer space. Listen, I'm not a military expert or anything,
Oh,
but
look what
but
happened the
that's
other
what it
day.
is. I mean, it should be obvious that's what it is. It's not. It's not
Look at
from
these
another planet.
these morons in St. Louis and down to New Orleans. These hillbilly morons. SpaceX
Yeah,
launched the other day. There were 68 satellites. So what happens is that the ship's going up and it's going poof, and it's letting the satellites out. And there's a
yeah,
line of satellites, and then you have all these people calling in like, "I'm seeing lines of spaceships." That's the same thing that happened over Houston. It was
right.
it was a line of satellites that they were putting in the air, or not the air,
Right.
the atmosphere.
I mean, I remember when I was a Christian for a long time, like this whole Antichrist thing. Like, you got this person who's, he's embodied like all this, all of Satan and all of whatever, right? All these, I don't want to go in depth about Satan
Yeah,
or Lucifer. There's a difference there, but the main thing, those are just phrase. Like, it's just really, I don't know. It was supposed to be like this thing we're supposed to be like so in awe of, and then as you get older and more mature, and you realize it's just a game being played on you, pretty much to control you, and
right,
you
right.
know,
From the time
yeah,
we were children,
it's
we
just
start getting
torture.
saturated with these ideas of metaphysics and
Yeah,
these emotions like love, and we teach kids about love, and we shouldn't be teaching kids about a horrible emotion like that. Uh, you know,
right.
it's way beyond their comprehension. Even 18, 19-year-old kids, it's way behind their comprehension. Uh, uh, but we saturate these kids with sexual stuff all over the TV, and we associate that's what love is. I mean, like love's a dog humping on a tree. You know, it's like, I mean, it's so ridiculous, and we ask ourselves why there's so many screwed up people in this world when it comes to gender dynamics and when it comes to gender biology, and people think they're other things, and it's like, man, why are they so screwed up? Because society screws them up. It's giving them
Absolutely. It's because it teaches them all these bad ideas. That's why we go back to the bad ideas with that Mike Hart,
right,
with the dangerous emotions and the dangerous
right,
teachings, and even
yeah,
Kevin Samuels'
back to
dangerous
the
teachings.
yeah,
Yeah,
what teaching
yeah,
is wrong, and there's a lot of teachers that teach really. I listen to a lot of philosophers in our time, and some of them just have these when it comes to mating, sex, love, and those things. the biology of it, they have it totally. They're still in La La Land.
Yeah, yeah. It's well, a lot of it's the literature, like the Romeo and Juliet stuff, and
Yeah, the Romeo
all the
and Juliet.
yeah,
Yeah,
the songs, the media, the media, the movies, like they all sell. They're selling you on this idea of love and faith and hope and afterlife and all this kind of stuff, and yeah. So people want to have that hope because they want to they want to have the security that everything's going to be okay when they die, or everything's going to be, that they didn't waste their life, and that's why they're having a family, whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I think it's good just to kind of stay in the physical. I think the physical is the only thing that's really real, because like I said, I go walk in nature a lot, and that's the only thing that's real, it seems, because this other stuff is all. This
yeah,
metaphysical stuff is not real. It's absolutely not real. It's just
yeah.
I'm like pretty sure of it now. I'm almost
Right.
100%
Why don't
sure.
they teach kids like some of the other emotions? We seem to have this set group. There's 27 different emotions that work on the personality, like sonder. If you ask a kid if he knows what sonder is. So it's the feeling that when you realize when you're walking by people and everyone you pass in this world, everything you pass has its own complex life. That's sonder. That's it.
Okay.
And we all deal with that emotion all the time. We're walking down when you're working to a crowd or at a convenience store, we get a feeling, an emotion that all these things have their own separate lives, but we never talk about it. Why is it always the really horrible ones, the really surface ones, the really them because of it's just this creepy religion because that's what people's desires are going.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, when they start talking about God, it shows their lack of introspection. They're believing an authority figure that told them about this when they were 5 years old or whatever. So you're like 60 something, 70 years old, and you're still believing what you were taught when you were 5 years old.
Yeah, you never put
That's an issue.
childish things away.
Yeah, you haven't done enough work there.
Now
You just
that's one
haven't.
of the Bible passages that I believe in. He got kind of, who is that? Nebuchadnezzar, or he says it goes on with drinking milk, and we put childish things away. We do no
Oh
longer.
yeah, that was Paul. That was Apostle Paul.
Yeah, we
Yeah,
no longer feed from the tit.
yeah, yeah. When I was a child, I thought like a child, and yeah,
Yeah, yeah. When I was a
well,
child, I
that's the
thought,
thing. The Bible takes a lot of the they that's what they did. They stole all these like ideas that have been around a lot longer than that their own book, and then they took these ideas that people believed in,
right?
which were actually good ideas, like what you just said, and then they just put it into their book so they can suck people into believing you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, they
So
warp.
they can believe they can believe their religion. So that's what Christianity is. It's just they just consolidated all these beliefs into one religion, and that way they can control they pretty much centralize the power through their religion, um, so then they throw these good ideas into their book, like what you just said, which is a good idea because as you get older, but then they'll like screw you up and they'll say, oh, you have to be like a child to come to Christ, or they'll like screw you.
Well, that's
So they just totally got
hypocritical.
people totally confused. Yeah, they got people totally confused,
Yeah,
and
that's
so
hypocritical. It's cognitively dissonant to what they're saying.
yeah,
Yeah, so a lot of
yeah,
bullshit. And I
of
mean,
course it is, of course it is.
when we become Mgtow, we kind of get rained on with this whole. It becomes a shower of what's absurd in the world, and we start seeing things in a more rational light. And that's a hard period to go through when you're looking at everything and you're just looking at all the lies.
Yeah, I don't know what pisses me off the most. I would say false hope really is up there.
False
Like that
hope,
might be
yeah.
the number one. Yeah, because
Well, there's some
because this whole
ideas.
idea of
Yeah, there's
heaven.
ideas in that too. We look how much our our society false hope is like it would. They're giving you something. What's the object of false hope? The object of false hope is a thing that you envy. that you want. Now look at commercials on
Yeah.
TV. It's like Mary's got spick and span, and that works twice as good in her kitchens. But Sue's looking over and like, I wish I had that. So envy is displayed as a good thing. And most commercials are that way. Bob's lawn's looking better. Bob's got a better lawnmower. Jim down the street's driveway is great. They're always selling something at you through this complex emotion of envy.
Yeah, you see it. Yeah, you see it all everywhere with
Everywhere. Yeah.
Neighborhoods. Oh, this is a better neighborhood, or cars. Oh, this is a nicer car. And I mean, I drive a car that's 20 years old. I'm fine. It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It's got leather seats. I mean, I don't need to buy a new car. I don't care. I don't give a shit. The car runs good. it's like yeah, I remember a friend of mine telling me years ago, like, yeah, so the purpose of the car is to get you from one place to the other. It just doesn't matter what it looks like. It's like,
right. You're still driving a Beamer?
Right. Yeah, so like, yes, you're right. It's like, yeah, they want you to buy into that concept that you need more money, you need more of this, more of that. And I have a friend that, the guy's making really, I mean, the guy's like a multimillionaire. He makes a lot of money, and he says he needs to make more money. And I didn't want to get into it with him. I don't want to argue with him, but it's like you're living in a fantasy fiction land. That's how you're thinking. I told him, I said, you're doing better than 99.9% of the population.
Yeah, what time?
He said he never has enough. It's like, what the hell? Yeah. It's like, come on, man. It's like, you're not living in reality,
paradox there. It's like he just wants more and more and more. And what time does he allow himself to enjoy the fruits of his labor? And that's what he tells us about. We give ourselves, like I say, hey, work 2 years and take a year off.
Yeah, it's like he doesn't get it. It's like, it's just God. It's like, listen, if you wanna save money, the best way to do it is just don't spend as much money. Like, what I mean? Don't go out to eat as much. You'll be surprised how much you save. Like go for walks or ride a bike instead of having a car. Like I know there's a lot of guys that don't have cars. They're a lot smarter than me. I mean, it's like I need a car for work because I'm outside. I do some outside selling every now and then. So I need a car for work, but if you don't need a car, like you don't need a car unless it's for like a work related situation. If you live far, you really don't need it. It's like a waste of money.
The sacrifice thing plays into that, and it's almost like the just world fallacy of sacrifice. They'll say the people, I want something. You say I need a house, and they'll say, well, put away all your bad behavior. And it's your fault that you don't have a house, and which is true in a way, but there's a certain lifestyle. I like to live a certain lifestyle. Sometimes I splurge. I go out to eat lunch with friends most every day. I mean, I know that's over, and it's just it's my lifestyle. I'll pick up a few lottery tickets, and I'll bet a couple games a week. I mean, and every time I seem to run into any cash, everybody points out my flaws. Like, if you just didn't do this, Joe, I mean, boom, it's like there's that just world fallacy. And I'm thinking more, if I just had a little more money, or or things were just a little cheaper, then my lifestyle would go fine. I don't have an absorbent lifestyle. I just have, it's probably more modest than most people's. But there's certain things I like to do, like the bikes. I spend a lot of money on my bikes.
Yeah, that's what you like. And then like kind of, so this brings me like with the women, like they never have enough money. They always need more security. They never have enough security.
But you never hear
more and more.
Yeah, you never hear someone tell a woman, like, if you just didn't buy as much makeup and shoes and stuff, you'd have money. So there's this kind of this hypocrisy in that, men, they'll be flat out, just right out tell you, like, you have to suffer. Just don't eat lunch and don't eat breakfast, and then drive around in a shitty car, and you'll get everything she needs.
Yeah. Well, and then like
that's the suffering thing that's thrown on you.
Yeah. Are you saying enjoy your life at work or spend time outside your work to enjoy your life, or both? Yeah, I mean,
try to enjoy your life at work too. Do something you love to do.
outside of your work. Yeah. They want you to always be sacrificing for. And I listen. I think delaying gratification is a good thing, but at the same time, you should be enjoying. I have a friend who's doing his going to business school now, and he's just enjoying it. He's taking his time. He's not, it's just something he likes to do, and he's not like on this path where I got to get this degree right away. I got to do the, I got to, um, he's got the right idea. Like he's not, he's enjoying the process, instead of, kind of looking at it as a chore or whatever. But
Right.
but yeah, but that delaying gratification thing is sometimes not a good thing, because you should be enjoying your life now while you can, while you got your health or whatever, right? Always sacrificing.
That would be a nice thing.
It's like people's ideas, like, I'm going to sacrifice till I'm 65, and then I'm going to start doing travel. Well, by that time, you might have a bad back. You might have.
Yeah, you're limping around, and life sucks at that point. I know that. I'm getting to that point, and it's like, if I had a period of life where I could have wished that I enjoyed more, it probably would have been between like 16 and probably 30. That the optimum time to take work off would be there. Maybe up to 40.
Right. Yeah, true.
Maybe 40 to 60s, our work period where we buckle down and we be more responsible and everything. But, I wish I could give kids like more free time so they can explore the world around them. But a lot of kids nowadays, there's this whole, I want to go out and travel a little bit and see the world. But I guess that's
that's another thing that they're trying to sell people too, right?
They're trying to sell that.
That's what's that? That's probably $1 trillion plus industry, traveling or whatever it is, right? It's a ton of money in traveling. So they're like, explore the world. You can, but it really doesn't. I mean, I've been to, I don't know, a lot of different cities, but not outside of the country as much. I mean, I've only been to Europe once and South America once and whatever, but like I haven't been to Asia. But the thing is it's not really it's all like, I remember my buddy was telling me a long time ago. He says, wherever you go, you still have to deal with yourself.
I never feel any different when when I was younger, when I was, when I traveled a little, and I never felt any different. And I always said to myself when I was somewhere out of the country or something, and I want to go into my military stuff, I always said, I wish I was back in Cleveland, because Cleveland's got everything. And it's just like, that's my hometown and I know everybody. It's like, I just wanted to be where I wanted to be rather than, and there's nothing around here. We got the lakes, we got the parks, we got pretty much everything. And, except for good winter weather, but that's something you just got to suffer through. And it's like, and even that's not so horrible. When I was younger, I used to go skiing and bobsledding and stuff like that. That was always a blast. But I never really. You think how the PUA thing kind of goes. I'm going to travel around the world in my yacht, and look at it. Rouge, how he had this imaginary world in his head, and he was doing the same thing. I'm rich, I'm successful, I'm traveling around the world. And no, he wasn't rich. He was living in his mom's house. And it was just it was a display of grandeur.
Yeah, and it's not going to satisfy you because you have this yacht, and you think you're going to have all this great experience, right?
But when I used to do it, and it was I was just really, I don't want to be in Colombia. I don't want to be in Peru. I didn't want to.
Yeah, me too. I'm the same way. I don't want to go to those places. I like my country. I like staying here.
Yeah, I like that. I like it here. And even when I was outside of the state, it was like when I was in Virginia or South Carolina or Tennessee, or Florida, I was like, I just don't feel any different. This doesn't turn me on, and I just rather be in Cleveland.
I was the same way. That's why. there's pretty much two places I live in the Northeast and West Coast. That's it. And I don't really like the South or I mean, whatever. I like there's some nice people down there, but it's just not my thing. And the Midwest too. It's just not my thing. It's just,
Yeah,
it's
to deal with cultural differences.
yeah. I've lived like 20 something years on the Northeast, 20 something years on the West Coast. So it's like I go back and forth depending
Yeah,
on my situation.
I
But
spent
that's what I like. That's what I like. I'm comfortable.
yeah, I spent half my life trying to form friendships and bonds that were culturally the same as me and understood me the same way. Why would I want to go somewhere else and deal with cultural differences?
Yeah, yeah. So you got to find a place where brings you happiness, I guess. So like you were saying with Camus, imagine yourself happy.
Yeah, just imagine yourself happy. Now, nice to. I
Yeah,
mean, I can see the allure of traveling around on my bike. If I was 10 years younger, I could probably do that. I'm coming to the realization now that that might never happen for me, but
yeah,
I was thinking I'd give it a go someday. But
yeah.
uh, it's just what am I going to see when I get there? Am I just going to see myself? And I'm not, But now as a Mgtow, I've learned to okay, I'm looking for the parks. I'm looking for the more unique things, and that's where you may find something that inspires you to go a different direction in life.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to do the introspection. I mean, it's the thing. Everyone's always, like, especially men, they're always living for their BI, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. You're
Yeah, yeah. They don't consider what they want out of life. They're just always,
it's funny how
they
we
think
don't
that's
swear.
normal. Yeah,
We
they
don't
can't say
swear.
that. We
I
can't say
listen.
that. Yeah.
I listened to. Well, we both listened to it this morning. Whatchamacallit, or
Huh.
Rick, uh, Grizz.
Oh yeah, how's he doing? So you think he? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, what's he? Yeah, he's talking about that teacher or something.
Yeah, he was talking about that teacher, but he goes off and he just swears, doesn't he? And my channel has been so censored that if I swear once, they censor me out.
Yeah, he likes the C word. It's not cat, but it starts with a C and ends with a T.
Yeah,
So
it
it's not.
starts with an E and
We'll
ends
just call it cat. He likes to use the word cat a lot.
with yeah.
You know,
And
and
it's it's so unfair to how much censorship I endure on this. They sent me that little message after my last round with them that we're going to let your channel come back up, but we don't trust you.
yeah, because we're telling the truth, I guess. Like, pretty
Yeah,
much.
yeah. The truth is, the truth hurts people. It's just,
Yeah,
they
I
don't.
mean the whole thing about this. Like, I believe I'm right on this spiritual thing. I just there's no spiritual world. I mean, sorry. First of all, like I said, you can't prove it. You can't prove it to me. And then I'm just doing my own observations of life and the last
I'm sure if you did a
years I'm on
deep
this planet.
introspection on emotions and
Yeah,
personality
it's
and religious and spiritual, you can
yeah,
find the links there where you're just either it's fear and you're just fearful of things, or you're envious of things, or and it's just basic human emotions. It's like, and you draw up these wild expectations of spirituality, and that's what they did. They couldn't explain what they were going through, so it must have been, some it must have been some outer force.
yeah. It's insane. It's like, and it's all just designed to a couple of reasons to take people's money and then to control. And that's it. And it's really that simple. It's right in your face. They just make up all this stuff and because the history with like you weren't there, right? We weren't there during these times. We don't even know the history they teach us is not. It's probably not even accurate, right? Like most of it, right? Unless you have something in writing, then we can something in writing that's like that's has good, like Camus. We know he was real and his work was real.
His work was real, and he had a
Right,
good
right. There's certain
grasp
people
on
we can
life.
trust. Yeah, but if you go back, like, yeah, like who else? I don't know. I mean, I guess Thomas Paine. Guys like that common sense, yeah. And but there's certain works that we can trust, but then there's others that we really don't know what the hell happened. It's like they just
Right. Yeah. What can I learn from this?
yeah.
You know.
Right, like the whole Native American thing with like the Europeans pretty much just came. It was they just conquered their lands by force. It wasn't. I don't think there was any kind of peaceful interaction there. I think it was kind of they just had better weapons, so they just took their
Right.
land.
Yeah.
You
It's
know,
a
and
force and
unfortunate. Yeah, it's unfortunate. But they just spin it a certain way, like right that they were so primitive, which they weren't. I don't know. It's just it kind of bothers me the way they teach. That's one of the reasons why I left teaching. I got to the point where it's like you're not really there's not enough critical thinking here. Just this is the way you're supposed to believe if you want to get a good grade, and then whatever.
yeah.
But yeah, it's so. But that spiritual world type thing, we'll call it spiritual world fallacy. Maybe we'll come up with a new phrase, spiritual world fallacy.
Yeah. Spiritual world fallacy. Yeah.
Yeah, because it's just that because look at I see these YouTube channels, like a lot of them are based on this whole idea of these aliens and these UFOs and these extraterrestrial beings, and it's like I haven't seen one of them.
No, yeah. For me, it's always a prove it. It must be from Missouri, but just hey, show me it, and I'll believe it. But
Right, you don't have one piece of evidence, and they come up with these like probably fake, every now and then they'll come up with a fake picture or whatever, right? Like, or they'll
right.
study their bones or, I don't know. It's just
Oh,
like you were saying about the larger beings, like how they were cannibal. There's cannibalism going on because they were starving. So
yeah.
that makes sense that why they had larger skulls. They were just
Right.
eating
Yeah,
them.
yeah. They grew bigger because of the vitamins and hormones that inside of human meat made them grow bigger.
Yeah, yeah. But anyway, getting back on topic, yeah, like this. So those are dangerous. Like those are dangerous beliefs to have because I think what it does is it confuses. It can you get to the point sometimes where life can become a lot more complicated than it has to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Although it's an interesting case that I would like to do more research on. I wish I can get a grant to do it in Ethiopia now.
Uh-huh.
There's the warring factions and the wars going on there in Ethiopia, but they found the hyenas were feasting on carcasses of humans.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think you were telling me. Was that the one you were telling me about before?
Yeah. At first, I found they're disgusting, and hyenas have always feasted on carcasses of humans, and
Yeah,
but
yeah. But they're super strong now, right? Their
yeah,
DNA got stronger.
I would like
Yeah.
to take the size measurements and stuff like that. That would be really cool if I can go to Somalia or Ethiopia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because the human meat is
Right,
the
and
best,
just
the highest form of the highest. It's the most nutritious.
yeah, it's got hormones. We have tons of hormones in our body and growth
Yeah.
hormones. Uh, but yeah, that would be interesting to figure out if these hyenas like were any bigger, larger, smarter than hyenas from maybe 50 miles away to 100 miles, and just kind of do a
Yeah.
plot chart of hyenas in the area, and then you
Yeah.
draw up the size charts and everything. That would be really cool to be able to do. That would be my dream to do something like that. Just
Yeah.
I'm stuck here. I'm studying the cicada this year and the ash beetle.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's why I can't stay in Hollywood a lot of times because I go out there at least once a month probably just to check it out. They have good restaurants and
Yeah, I'll bet they have great restaurants.
they're a bunch of losers in that town because I know I think Drew Barrymore she had a show about cannibalism and I was like so disgusted by it. It's like
Yeah,
you people are such low life, you know what I mean? It's like human beings are not supposed to eat other human beings. It's like what I'm saying. This to come together as a race, as a species, and kind of, you know, we're supposed to come together and help each other. Killing other animals, yeah, I think that's okay because it's like we have to live and be nutritious and everything. But to kill your own species, I mean, and then so this show like promotes cannibalism. I think Drew Barrymore, autistic. She's another autistic. She's in the Juliette Lewis and Sarah Jessica Parker.
Drew Barrymore, Juliette Lewis, and what's her name?
Sarah Jessica
Yeah.
what's her name? Jessica Sarah Parker. What's her name? Jessica Sarah Parker or Sarah? It's either Sarah Jessica Parker. Yeah, Sarah Jessica Parker.
Yeah.
So that's the trifecta of ugly chick.
Yeah.
But so she has that show about cannibal. It's just so like crass, It's a bunch of lowlifes, They promote. That's why I stopped watching really movies and a lot of TV, like the way they always making fun of the human race. They're always like painting this picture that we're a bunch of freaking idiots, and it just bothers me a lot.
Yeah. I had a thought, but then I said hello to Hetty.
Oh yeah. Well, it's good when he's on there. Cause he's an OG Mgtow for There's like a certain guys like RP, Hetty, that it's good to see them and in the chat still around.
Yeah,
because they're obviously their quality of life is really good because of me. Obviously they make good decisions. Yeah, but it's good to see because they've stood the test of time and they're great guys. Pretty much. I mean, I don't really know that. I mean, I've talked to RP a lot, but you just know that they're guys that are going to give you good advice and good guidance. You need it.
I found that comment you put up yesterday was kind of interesting about the girl said that we were out proselyting Mgtows.
Yeah,
and we're he says no. The comment was the guy said no. We just wait for him to come to us.
Oh yeah. We don't wait for Who wrote that? It was Grey Wolf.
Grey Wolf, yeah. It's like
he wrote. We don't recruit.
We don't recruit.
Right. We yeah. Let me look at it. I gotta look that one up.
Yeah,
that was on Hannibal.
That was kind of funny. It was a great Mgtow line. We should.
Yeah. Like we're here for them. We're like the safety net. We're like I don't know if safety net's the right term, but we're
like, we don't have to recruit. You're gonna send them to us.
Right. You're gonna come to us eventually once you get enough intelligence and I gotta see that. I think Jeff posted it, or did you post it? I think Jeff posted
it. Might have been Jeff.
No, Jeff, yeah. He said Mgtow doesn't recruit. We just watch them arrive.
Yeah, we just watch them arrive.
Yeah, because it's true. I mean, I've had like a friend he had close to 2 20-year marriages, and now he's like, whatever. I'll just say 70s. It sounds better, but now he's on this third one. That punches him and all this kind of crazy shit, and he still hasn't learned after 70 years. Like, this is a guy that's you're supposed to be teaching other men, right? Like, so. You've been in Mgtow, I know, at least on YouTube for over 10 years now, right? Long time.
Yeah, on YouTube for over 10 years as men's rights. Before that, about 1998, I started. I seen in 1998. It was a BBC show. I'm married, and we're having a party on a Saturday night, and the BBC came on, and I'm saying, who's the guest on BBC tonight? And they said, well, this Angry Harry guy. Angry Harry. Yeah. They were supposed to give him 30 minutes to talk. They ran over him for like 15 minutes, but in the 5 minutes that he had to talk, it was like, man, this guy, he makes so much sense.
Yeah.
And I guess
he was, I wish I could have got a chance to talk to him. You talked to him before?
Yeah, I talked to Angry Harry quite a bit back in maybe 2000 and 2000 up to 2004.
Now, what happened with him? Did he end up killing himself or something? Or?
I think he was disappointed. He was fine. He just died of natural old age. I think he was 63 or something. Not probably a little too short, but he wanted to. There was a lot of the PUA that bothered him, and people were getting things wrong. He's a lot like me. When he sees illogical fallacies, it drove him nuts. He's a well-educated guy. I mean, I think he went to not Berkeley. He went to like
Stanford.
that English. I can't remember what
Oh,
schools he went.
Oxford,
Oxford or something like that. Yeah, he taught at Oxford too, and he
really?
was
Oh,
really
wow.
he was a smart guy, and there was nothing stupid about what he was saying. And he's the first one that turned me on to the bacteria, the pheromones. Okay, he says, you know what's happening,
Oh, yeah. It's advanced. That's advanced.
and he was.
It makes sense.
Yeah, we're all dogs. We're all like dogs. We smell those pheromones, and then we are like animals. He says. So Angry Harry was my first influence to reel me. Before that, it was like the mesopoetic period of the Big John thing, and most people don't even realize Big John had this new model of Big John has nothing to do with the Big John. It was a mesopoetic era, and it was more of a Christian movement. And then the Million Man March happened right after that, and then it was like, I mean, that was inspirational. We should have like a Million Men March, or again, just men, a million Mgtow March.
Yeah.
But my first influence was Angry Harry. It was just, wow, this guy's. I remember standing there, and my buddies were drinking beer. We got a keg of beer. It was like a kegger or something, and I'm like, I stopped drinking, and it was like, I just want no, listen to this dude. Listen to what he's saying. That shit's real.
Well, yeah, it goes against the narrative that we were taught as kids, as
Right.
children. Fortunately, I mean, we're all born into, well, not all of us, but you're either going to be born into a situation where you're going to have a trad cuck, traditional family, or you're going to have a single baby mama. It's rare you're going to have a situation where you're going to be raised only by your father. That's
Right.
very rare. And even then, so he's going to be a guy that was likely a trad con too, right? Or he was a thirsty guy too, right? Why would he?
Yeah, it depends on
So
what.
now you're like, how do you get out of that situation when you're born into it? So when the guy presents totally different ideas, yes, it's a little shocking probably at first.
Right. Raising children as a male is not going to be no different than what you think. And children only hate you for what you're not, and that's what you're not is a lot. They're going to find something to hate you for. Uh, but hey, that's a different thing. Mentorship and everything.
Yeah, that sounds like what an interesting guy. Huh? He died young, huh? 63. It's pretty young.
Yeah, he died pretty young. I can't remember the age. We could look it up and see exactly what happened there. I think he had some physical ailment, and
Yeah.
it was sad when he passed. I was saddened by that.
Okay, I thought he killed himself. I thought you mentioned that before.
I'll look it up real quick. It's been years. Uh,
But
you still
it's
got what up?
yeah. What's that? I
You
didn't hear
still
what
got website up?
Yeah. But yeah, it's definitely like I know when I first came into all this, it was more just from the standpoint of like women are crazy or whatever and toxic but then you kind of evolve and you realize that there's more to it. There's so much more to it. It's like it's about discovering who you are, what you want out of life. It's not just about avoiding women.
Yeah.
It's part of it. It's an important part of it, but the friendships you have with other men too, and like these simps, like boy, they just kind of, I don't know, man. They're just tough to. I mean, I know, like it's like I'm saying, like we're living in a simp world, though, so it's kind of hard to avoid. I mean, I know, like okay, so I know you, RP, JK, Black Wolf. I know there's like less than 10 Mgtow. Jeff, it's like less than 10 Mgtow I probably communicate with on a regular basis. None of them are, you guys are all virtual, right? It's not.
Yeah, yeah, it'd be nice
Yeah.
if we get something together, and if there were more Mgtows, and but there's so many different kinds of Mgtows that it would be hard to agree on anything. And but that's what we kind of do. We kind of try to quantify this thing a little better. It's so important to write it down someday, you know.
I mean, you don't want to go to the Male Excellence Conference, Joe, in Las Vegas for
No,
$3,000 ticket?
no, I don't think that's actually MGTOW. I think that's MRA and PUA, and
Yeah.
they have the right to do their own thing. Like I said, PUA has a
Yeah.
purpose, but I don't think
Yeah.
they understand their purpose.
It's false hope. It's a false hope
Yeah,
conference. Yeah.
yeah. PUA was originally the inception of it was to inflate the pig, what we used to call inflate the pig, and the social. It's like it's this kind of the same way. I think it's like 200 miles in a fake ID. Don't get caught. Don't get hemmed up. That was PUA back then. You know, you can do all those things. Just don't get caught doing it. And the purpose was because of the social systems. We're gonna just blow up the social systems.
Yeah. I just my move now is lock the door in a hot shower
Yeah,
and watch my bank account.
I'm just indifferent to it.
My bank account stays steady,
Yeah,
and if I'm working, it goes up. And because I think to me, it's about trying to retire as early as possible. And I'm not gonna just kind of slowly growing my wealth, but and that's how you're supposed to do it. You're not supposed to have.
yeah, that's a good plan. You know, you got to have a plan.
Yeah, that's
I
what
wish
you
I
want
had
to do.
one.
Yeah.
My plans were all destructed by marriage. It was like, how was I ever supposed to I was thinking about that yesterday. How was I ever supposed to recover from that? If it wasn't for Mgtow and some of the health aspects of Mgtow and starting to live like realizing how the brain works and how you can come back from certain things and everything. Because I told you, I'm very honest with people about after being poisoned, I was like a fucking retard. I mean, I had to come back from that and the health aspects of Mgtow about the diet aspect, looking at what to eat, that was all very helpful. Even the you know abstinence part of it helped out in my mental health. I wasn't so it wasn't so loopy.
Mm-hmm.
But in a way, even when I was very sick after I was very sick after being poisoned. It resembled mental illness, and it I I was still dating regularly then. It was like it was like, who would want to date this bum, and I was a bum. Uh, but yeah, there's still that's why I don't understand TFL. I don't understand incel because at my worst time, it was still easy.
Yeah. 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 I know. I don't understand it either. But they're trying too hard or something. I don't know
Yeah,
what the
they're
hell
trying
it
to
is. I
PUA
don't know.
all those lessons that they give
Yeah,
out.
I think what it is, you have guys that they're trying to get like these supermodels or something. Like they're trying to date a supermodel or something, which I don't know,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
for
If your
Tom Brady.
expectations are like, I mean, if your expectations are Juliette Lewis, man, dating that supermodel,
Yeah, yeah. Juliette Lewis, yeah. God, is there anyone uglier and like, she might be the ugliest woman on the planet at this point. I mean, well, I can't watch that scene in Natural Born Killers. I want to just jump in the screen and just beat her ass, and I just wish I could talk to Quentin Tarantino, see if he can redo that scene for me. But
yeah, that was a Quentin Tarantino mistake.
he's a big pussy and a simp. And God, you
Yeah,
ever see that guy talk? He's like a spurg. He like sweats all the time when he talks, and he's just a spurgy guy. And I knew a guy that that he lived in Hollywood for a while, and he went to a party, and Tarantino was there acting all spazzy, like doing all this cocaine. And my
Yeah.
buddy's like the straight-laced guy. He's like an actor from like Ivy League school, and he's like, and Tarantino asked him to do some cocaine, and he goes, "Nah, no, I'm good, man, thanks." So it's like, it makes sense that he would put in a scene like that, showing up men, and it's like, it's like, you're such a freaking loser, Tarantino.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I used to just laugh at like Planet Terror with the girl
Yeah.
with the machine gun leg. Who was that? Was in that one? That was I can't remember.
I don't know. Jeff was telling me the story about what's the one with Kurt Russell? Like he had a bunch of women beat him up. I couldn't even.
Oh yeah, Kurt Russell. I think Kurt Russell
Yeah.
was.
What was it called again? I don't know if it's a Tarantino movie or not, but something where he gets beat up by a bunch of women, and I can't watch stuff like that because again, you're going into this metaphysical, fantasy, fictional world. I mean, I know it's Hollywood. I know it's just a movie. You shouldn't get too involved in it. It's just a movie. You just observe it if you want to watch that kind of garbage. But I just, for me, it doesn't. It just impacts me. It bothers me too much. So I don't even bother. Very careful about what I watch these days. Very careful.
That was one of the MRA's favorite women from Planet Terror. That was Rose McGowan.
Oh yeah, who did she beat up? Yeah, with her 5 foot.
Yeah, she got a machine gun.
140-pound frame. Who did she beat up? Mike Tyson in a fight or something?
Yeah, that was Freddie Rodriguez.
Imagine fighting Mike Tyson. Dude, I seen Mike Tyson live. Like I was like standing right next to him 2 different times in Nevada.
Yeah,
and that's not a guy you want to. That's not the guy you want to play around with, man. He was like wide. He was like wide. He was like thick, and his neck was like he looked so much bigger in person.
He probably is. Yeah.
Total like, and like he knows how to throw a punch on top of all that shit. It's like, okay, yeah, I don't, it's not the guy you want to really, you want to be super respectful to a guy like him. And anyway, but yeah, he was like the biggest. He was like So anyway, like these movies kind of bother me. Like Rose McGowan. So Rose McGowan's like, she's like, what is she, like a Navy SEAL or something? Is she a Navy SEAL in that movie or something? Is she like saving the world?
I forget what she was. She was just a barmaid or something, and then Freddie Rodriguez like took her out, and then they got like.
Oh, she got killed in the movie, Rose McGowan.
Yeah.
See, that's. Hold on, let me get my pen here. That's a movie worth watching.
Yeah. I wanted to tell John that I finally watched Captain Harlock, Space Pirates Harlock.
Yeah.
Because we're running out of space pirate movies, and it just really sucks.
Yeah.
JK likes his space pirate movies.
JK likes John Kramer. Yeah, John Kramer. I was watching some of that John Kramer stuff. But I don't know. It seems pretty interesting character. I'm not really into it that much, but it seems like a pretty, he has a good taste in a lot of stuff. John Kramer, JK. Yeah, he's got a lot of interesting. I've never met a guy that's more positive probably than him. He's very positive. He's been through a lot of adversity.
Very structured in his life, and
he has a good outlook on things, and he appreciates life, and he's a better man than probably.
One of the things we used to talk about is Firefly and what was it? Firefly and the space pirate movies. We like space pirate movies, but there ain't been none on except for The Expanse, and that kind of sucked out last year. And so I was down to watching Harlock.
Yeah. Sudi's in the house.
Susie, yes, I've seen Susie and Mike.
Well, that's the thing about Mgtow. It's like I've never met a true Mgtow that was an idiot. I don't think I've ever met one. There were a lot of fake Mgtow that came around. I won't mention their names, but the ones that are true Mgtow, like Sudi, guys like him and JK and RP, like they're like super intelligent. To me, they're super intelligent. Yourself, there's like, and it's like SFM, Jeff, Black Wolf, and the guys like that. Like we're at like a different level of intelligence, and I think a lot of it has to do with not being around those hormones and just not being around women in general. If you hang out with women in general, like they're gonna make you dumber.
Right. It's a proven fact that once you get infected with the bacteria, your IQ drops like 20 points, and then when you get affected with the estrogens, that you're going to be up against. She's rubbing estrogens on you. You're getting estrogens all in you. Your IQ is going to drop more. The average. That's what was this? Charles. He got really mad at me when I said the average married man has a 30-point deficit in his IQ.
Yeah.
And it's not that he's stupider. He can be smarter, but he has to get rid of one thing. That.
Yeah, that's right. And just the interactions in general, like what you said, like you used to go on dates and like women would have conversations about their cat, you know?
Yeah, you'd be sitting there like you want one thing, and it's just like an endless hour conversation over dinner about her favorite cats, and you're like, oh yeah, I love cats. Coach emotional sport guy today.
Yeah. Oh man. It's bad. I mean, some of the courses I'm taking now, but there'll be a few women that'll have some good ideas. They're mostly mimic, though. They're just mimicking a lot of times.
Yeah, they just mimic a lot of times, and there's some really bright, intelligent women.
Well, I think that's like the biggest misconception of Mgtow is that we actually want women to evolve themselves. You know, take responsibility for your baby.
Yeah, take responsibility.
Yeah, we want. Yeah, we're not these guys that want women to be slaves and all this kind of stuff. Also, you know, we're not like, yeah.
No, I don't want to. You know, I want to pay half the bills. I'll pay half the bills, and let's have some intelligent conversation over dinner, not just like you know, not just your cat. And that's kind of, I mean, but I found that that's almost an impossibility, and there's just no to find a female with my IQ is really hard.
Yeah, well, you're at you're up there. So, but I was thinking, man, I said I hated to admit this last night, but it's true. I said, yeah, Trav's smarter than me. All right, I admit it. It's like, no. So maybe I'll catch up to him in 10 years. I said, oh, you got about 5 or 10 years on me. So I was like, all right, I have to admit that. What's that?
10 years of my from 50, probably from 45 to 50 is when I really started buckling down and going to school. And up to that point, I was just your regular moron.
Yeah. Well,
45 and over.
Kind of hard to believe, but yeah.
No, I wasn't a moron. I just didn't apply myself like I should have.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to do, and there's not a lot of good role models. That's the thing. There's not a lot of good role models out there. So it's so hard to break free. Like you get these guys that might be smart, like business wise or whatever, but their whole life revolves around making money and okay, so you can make a little bit of money, good for you. But at the end of the day, like a lot of them are like alcoholics, a lot of them are, you know, cocaine, they're druggies, they're just, you know, they're sim, you know, they're PUA, whatever. They're not. So it's kind of hard. Like you take the good qualities in each person and kind of consolidate it. But you know, there's not gonna be one guy. Like, but now when you have a true Mgtow, you pretty much have everything consolidated. You can use them as not use them, but like you can use them as a role model. I guess I don't know if that's the right phrase, but you can they serve as a good role model.
Right. A lot of Mgtow is about mentorship, and I wish the mentorship program in Mgtow was better. You know, nowadays it's not really as good as it should be, and I always thought that every male of my age should, and I've tried it in my life, take on a young man, teach him a trade, and teach him what works in life and everything. And I've tried that several. You know, I used to run this house, and it just doesn't seem to work anymore. Most men just want to get married and have a woman and go to the 9 to 5 and never really apply themselves. And that's the way I was. So I can understand that. I would never apply myself.
Yeah, and they think all their problems are gonna go away if they find the right woman. That's right.
Yeah, well, the right woman's gonna make, and that's based on probably desire and selfishness too. You just want everything to immediately be better in this sort of really selfish way, and the really selfish traditional conservative way. It is really selfish of us too to think that. I mean,
Yeah.
asking a woman to just be your equal too. It's like, okay, everything in society says that you can be our equals. Just do it now, please.
Right. They got to take that step now.
Take that
Yeah, exactly.
responsibility. Take
They
that
have the
step.
opportunities now, and now they got to take that step. But
But
they're
they're
not going to be able to do the stuff we do, like the
yeah.
construction and the
Oh no,
plumbing,
but they could
electrical
do
work.
other things and very
Right.
useful things too. And as for some of the skilled labor jobs, they're very good at it. I mean, they can be scientists, they can be, they can be nurses, they can be, there's a lot of things. There's probably more jobs. See, half of Simpson's paradox was when they look at jobs or they look at classes. Simpson's paradox was there were seven classes and seven basic brands of classes for women and three for men. So there was more for them to do. And that's still probably today. There's more jobs for women. I mean, more bullshit jobs, lighter than air jobs, and made up jobs.
Yeah, that's why like there's dangerous idea. Kevin, Kevin Samuels, Mike Hart. Who's the other one? I don't know. Should I mention his name?
Who's
The
that?
young guy who says Mgtow draws you closer to God. Or who's
Ooh.
it? I mean, I hated to say that. He's a young guy, and I know he'll hopefully grow out of that
Oh,
because he
that's
does good.
he's a good guy and everything. I respect his work and everything.
Should I say? Should we say his name? I don't know. That's okay. Let it go.
I can't remember his name. What was his name? I respect his work. I don't think.
I'm not sure. I say I'm going to piss off a lot of people, but
Yeah, it's going to. Well, because
I don't want to say. I don't want to say his name. But
religion
he's a
and
young guy. He's a young guy that a lot of like. Okay, like I respect Johnny Midnight a lot. I really do. Even though he's into the fake religion, but no, sorry, Johnny. I like you a lot though. But uh, but 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 Johnny brought him up how he loves this guy's channel, and he is a really articulate, smart guy. But he did a video recently about like how Mgtow draws you closer to God, or how like he's trying to relate Mgtow with like that God relationship, and
right, he's a lot like I was when I was his age too. Before when I was married
yeah,
and everything, and I
yeah,
was simping
yeah.
and everything. I was a really good speaker. I mean, I could wow a crowd, and I mean that's what I was really, really good
With
at.
the Christianity, the trad, yeah, I was just, yeah, I wasn't as well. I used to teach like Sunday school. That's
Yeah,
how bad.
it's like
It's not like we're saying this out of ignorance, right? We're not. We used to do it. Like I did it
yeah,
20
I got a stack
years
of
ago.
like
I was
thank
teaching
you
Sunday
letters
school.
from churches and come
Yeah.
speak at my church. That's
Right,
one
right. You were even a higher level than me. I was just teaching. I had a class with like 15, 20 students, and I was
yeah, I
like
would
in
get
my mid.
requests back then because I was a really one of the things I really do good in this world is I get in front of a crowd. I used to be. Now I'm too blunt. It's like that's one of the things I was really good at. I wish I had YouTube back then when I do the song and dance and man, I would have made a ton of money on YouTube.
Oh, I know. You would have, and then you might have got caught into that because you
Yeah,
might have.
it's just saying bullshit stuff and
Right. You would have been Kevin Sam. You might have been Kevin Samuels before Kevin
right.
Samuels, and now you get caught up with it. Like you get caught up in this ideology that's because
Now I value the truth more, and I'm going to say something that's going to irritate
right,
people, but
right,
that's
right,
okay. Every time a truth teller comes in this world, the world rejects them.
right, right. Pretty much. Well, the smart ones are going to gravitate towards them and have a higher quality life. I mean, I know. I look at my life and it's like super high
Yeah, look, they
quality. I
killed
mean,
soccer.
I drove cross country with like no stress. I was just driving myself. I had a car full of crap in the car. That's kind of stressful having stuff in the car. But other than that, it was like I didn't even worry about if I was in California. My car overheated. I didn't even care. I was like, yeah, whatever. We'll straighten it out. It got straightened out. But uh, yeah. So it's like for me, Mgtow is first about survival and self
Yeah,
preservation. But then I think the second part is maybe just as important, probably not as important, but up there is quality of life. if you're a Jeff and I talk a lot about that idea. If you're a Mgtow and you're still a miserable son of a gun, then you got still a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
There's something you should, because you come to Mgtow, you should almost, it's almost like because whenever I have issues in life, I just think about Mgtow and the philosophy and how, that I'm here and I have a place, and I'm happy. Like I have a lot of to be at this point. Yeah.
Mgtow is a purpose. Mgtow gives you a purpose, and when everything's lost in that haze of, Mgtow gives you a purpose. It gives you something to do, something to believe in. It makes your life happier, and that reduces stress. I mean, if you're still stressed out, and that was my big thing, is I had to get the stress levels down, or else I was going to die.
Yeah. It's like when I used to play poker. So they used to have a lot of poker books out there. Like, nobody used to read these books, right? This is probably 30 years. Well, yeah, about 25, 30 years ago. And I used to order these books. I lived on the East Coast. I used to order these books from all over the country. So I had an advantage over all these other poker players because I had some information about how to mathematically play the game at an optimum level, right? So I used to win most of the time, right? So now, fast forward, all this information's out there now, right? So now it's like I had to make some adjustments, whatever. They got the same information I got. So I feel like that way with Mgtow. Like, I have this information. It's almost inside information. I know what women are all about. No, they're not complicated. They're not this and that like we were taught. They're, So it's almost like you have this. Like, I have the playbook on how to live a high quality life and a lot. That information hasn't caught up to the general population. So I feel like I'm living this life where I have a huge advantage over the general population in terms of high quality of life. You know what I'm saying? So, and I'm hoping it does catch up and other men catch on to it. But we're so far behind, I think in general, because most men don't understand these concepts about relationships and what women are really like.
Yeah, it's like you always say, it's pocket aces.
Yeah, the pocket aces, exactly. That's where that ties into.
A little bit of an advantage over the rest of the people.
What happened to that guy, the pocket aces guy? What happened?
That was, man, that guy was.
That guy was on it. He was on it. Yeah, but it's like you have pocket aces. You're holding on to a hand that can't be beat, at least pre-flop or at least pre. Now, sometimes the pocket aces are going to lose because you're going to be in situations like I'm in this hotel, right? And there's an elevator, right? There's four different elevators. Now, I usually wait. I don't want to go in an elevator with a.
No,
I usually wait. No, I try not to do it. I try to wait, but sometimes you get caught up and you got to go, and so you're in an elevator with a woman or whatever, right? And so something could happen, whatever. You'd have to be careful. There's certain situations where the pocket aces you're gonna have to fold them in certain situations, right? Like
you should turn on your phone, like your phone video recorder while you're in there.
I had a hand. I remember I had 2 black aces once in a poker game, and the flop came like 8, 9, 10 of hearts, and I'm holding 2 black aces. Right. So now so most amateurs are gonna be stubborn and they're not gonna give up the aces, but I knew it was a terrible hand. I mean, I'm drawn against a flush. I don't have a heart.
Yeah.
I'm drawn against a straight. I don't have an out with the straight. Right. So I'm in a terrible spot. I mean, the only way I could possibly see a turn card and hope the board pairs or hit my. What am I going to catch? Even if I catch an ace of heart, which gives me 3 aces, there's 4 hearts on the board. Someone's probably going to have a flush. So I folded the hand.
Yeah.
So these situations come up now. I'm kind of just making a joke about this all, but like the main thing is like there's going to be, even as a Mgtow, you have to put yourself to where you have no risk pretty much. But there's still going to be situations come up where there might be a little risk, and you just have to manage those situations. Like being a third wheel on a date. You might. You don't want to be in that situation, but sometimes you back into that situation for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Out of your control. You know what I mean? So those are the things that we still. So what I'm trying to say is you still have to be on your toes, even though you have all this Mgtow knowledge.
Yeah. It becomes natural part of your everyday living too. It's not something that you have to be vigilant about. Once you start Mgtow, just incorporate it into your life, and then those things, will become natural. You see 2 girls hanging out in front of you, just kind of walk around them, and it's no big deal. I'm indifferent to it. indifference helps in a lot of stuff. I mean, you don't stop to break up the fight. You don't argue with people. You just keep on moving and do your thing. And because the only thing I really want to do is do my thing. And I don't care what the rest of the world's doing.
Yeah, and I'm always careful, like with the guy with the girlfriend, like that's
Right.
yeah. If it's I mean, like I get away from that situation right away because they think, oh, you're looking at my girl.
Right. If you become a caretaker to one of your friends and then he gets a girlfriend, you got to be the caretaker to the girlfriend too.
Yeah, yeah. Those third wheel situations
Yeah.
come up a lot. They come up a lot.
Yeah.
In general,
be expected. Pay for my B.
and then just in general, like, because this sounds corny, but I'm kind of like a natural. Like I naturally just bullshit with people, right? So
Yeah.
I have to be careful with doing that with chicks because they think I'm hitting on them. It's like I'm not hitting on you. I'm just trying to have a. I'm just how I am, just bullshitting with it. It's like it's like they think, oh, you want to grab a drink?
I think it's
no,
so.
I don't want to fucking grab a drink.
I think it's so funny when the young girls think I'm hitting on them.
Yeah, they think that the split G is like. Has gold chips in there. Like I'm trying to.
Yeah, I'm looking at him and thinking, no, you're like a baby.
I know you're young enough to be my like. I'm at the point now where these broads are young enough to be my. Well, I shouldn't say granddaughters, but they're definitely young enough to be my daughters, right? Like and because they're young enough to be my daughter. It's like fuck that. I'm not. I'm not gonna. Like no, I'm not hitting on you. I'm not interested.
Sometimes the difference thing will get you in trouble. Like I say at the bar, I'm just being indifferent, doing my thing. I was it was a couple. What is it? About 6 months ago when I said that black girl just jumped up on my lap, and it was like, oh, but it was the indifference thing that was probably attractive to her. I was like, whoa.
Yeah.
It was really uncomfortable.
God, they put you in those spots sometimes, don't they? Like,
yeah. It's like, wow, I'm old enough to be your grandpa.
Yeah. I remember I was over at my buddy's friend's house, like the second, third time I met this guy. He's a good dude, and so he had like this nice pool in the backyard, and I don't know, I forgot my bathing suit. I don't know what the hell happened, but I was sitting in his couch. All of a sudden, his wife like sits on my lap.
Yeah.
I'm like, what are you doing?
Oh,
I go, it's only me. She goes, it's only me. I'm like, what are you doing? And like, it's kind of weird, man.
Like years, I told you about this about 5 years ago. He is like trying to get me back dating again so we can run around together still. And he took me to this party, which ended up being a hot tub party, which kind of naked. The girl she was like, okay, guys. And I was like, holy shit, this is like one of those parties. It was a swinger party. And like, I am so out of place here. I just walked home. I walked home.
Yeah. How long of a walk did you have?
It was quite a walk too. It was like 5.5 miles, I think it was.
Oh shit!
And then I measured.
Go ahead, sorry.
I measured it the next day, and I was yelling at my buddy, and I had to know the exact amount I walked. I was like, no, don't do that to me. It's not my thing. I don't want to be in a swinger party.
That's so corny. Yeah, exactly. I remember the story.
She stripped down and jumped in the hot tub, and it was like, oh my God. And she says, come on, get in. I was like, no.
Yeah, that's the thing. It's a harm reduction. That reminds me of a story of Bobby Knight, like they lost the basketball game. He walked back to the hotel.
If you were a stripper and can give a massage, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's about as far as it's gonna go. I mean,
God, strippers are so strange, huh?
Yeah, strippers are unique people.
Yeah, they're like, yeah.
I'm the patron saint of strippers too. They find me wherever I go.
Yeah. Oh man, I remember this Vegas stripper. She's like, I didn't want to. Like, I don't do I don't get mad. I don't go to strip clubs anymore. I used to go
dance
a year,
anything like that.
Yeah, but it's always like I got dragged into going or whatever, and whatever. But now, I haven't been to one in so long. But like, she goes, I didn't want to get a dance. Like my buddy he wanted to pay for the lap dance. It was like $20. I said, nah, I'm good. I don't want it. She goes, you don't want this prize?
You know what, this prize? Yeah, they are something. Even when I owned the bar, I used to shut down the bar at midnight, and then all the stripper bars were around, and all the stripper girls would come there to my place, and then I would let them in through the back door, and then they would just drink and talk and have fun and be normal and shit. And it was a normal environment that I provided for them. And I wasn't hitting on them, and there was no guys to hit on them, and that's what they really wanted. They wanted somewhere just to go somewhere, have fun, and play the jukebox, play some pool, and not get hit on.
Yeah.
I mean, that's understandable too. Sometimes they just want to be looked at as normal people, and that's what I want for them. I want them to act like normal people and have all the advantages of life.
Yeah, and being a stripper is definitely not normal. It's not, yeah. Well, I don't know, that mindset. That's a good study. Like, I'm sure there's books written on it, like the mindset.
Yeah, you can't find a lot of books written on that kind of.
Yeah.
I suppose you have to do it personality types and break down personalities and emotions and do a scientific study on the whole thing. That would be interesting. I think I'd be a good person to write that book.
Yeah, because it has to do with probably wanting attention.
I'm objective,
daddy issues. They talk about daddy issues.
Daddy issues, and probably a lot of them have daddy issues and safety issues, and a percentage of them are lesbians. That's the ones I think. The lesbian. That's right.
Yeah. Sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah, the lesbian strippers was my thing back in the day. I got
lesbian strippers. They got short hair.
Most of the time they wear wigs. So yeah, it's wigs and short hair, but when I usually seen them, they were wigged up and doing their stripper thing, and so that's my other two kids.
That's a good part about getting older. I was talking, I think, RP about this, like, I don't know, one of those guys, JK maybe, or Jeff. Well, it's like as you get older, it's actually it's a positive thing because you kind of see through everyone's your bullshit. Like I think you said it too. The bullshit detector goes way up. It's like life becomes a lot better because you can kind of you have like the quality of life should go way up because now you know what to avoid. You kind of know how to live a good life. Like my thing lately, like I really don't go out at night much anymore. I just kind of just relax and just stay in, and I make sure I get enough rest. And like I'm not into the nightlife stuff. I mean, I'm not.
Me neither.
I don't do that anymore.
A good nap is like valuable.
So your quality of life goes up, and you avoid those situations with these crazy conversations with people or whatever, or women, or you can avoid So what I'm trying to say is like the society tells you that getting older is a bad thing because you're I guess you're closer to you might have some more physical health issues or this and that. But I don't look at it that way. I'm looking at it more it's a good thing because now your intelligence level, wisdom level goes up. That's why it really bothers me men in their 50s, 60s, 70s and older that just act like a bunch of idiots. It's like, wow, you haven't learned a damn thing your whole life, have you?
Yeah, you're supposed to learn from every event, and especially the bad ones, and apply it. That's experience.
And then also have the empathy for these younger people that just haven't been taught correctly, and they're obviously teenagers don't know any better, and even guys in their 20s are still a little dumb. And I'm not trying to make fun of people in their 20s, but it's just true. I mean, you just haven't lived long enough to understand it. Unless you're a role model.
They're what would I call them? Gullible. They're
just gullible, naive, and it just they still believe in things like love, faith, and hope, and all these kind of fake ideas. And
it's like they're fresh out of catechism.
Yeah. Yeah, they think they overvalue things that aren't as important. And I'm not saying like money's not important. You do need a little bit of money to get life, but they overvalue that. They undervalue like honesty and integrity, and like they undervalue a good night's rest, right? And then they overvalue, looking good. Well, I look
Yeah,
good. Look how big and strong. Look, I love my muscles. It's like, what? Are you getting enough sleep? Are you living a relaxed life, or you emotionally have self-control and all this kind of stuff? That's a hard thing to develop sometimes, but yeah. So, but yeah,
right.
those older men that act like teenagers, wow, they really bother me because I'm in my mid 40s now, but that's the one group that people that are like I say probably, I don't know, 15 to 30 years, plus years older than me that are immature. I
Yeah,
really don't. I
yeah.
really don't like those. I don't. Yeah, I don't really like those. I don't care like what kind of race they are or anything like that. I just don't like to be around those kind of people. I really don't. They really bother me. But there's not a lot of them around. I don't think. I don't really see too many of them.
Yeah, you run into them and it just drives you crazy when you see it. It's like I don't
Yeah.
know. It's an oddity and it's not normal.
No, it's not. It's not. It's something that they never got called out or whatever. You don't see a lot of it, like I said. But
Right, when you see these billionaires like lately, like Robert Kraft
yeah,
and just Bill Gates, and just acting like teenagers when it comes to women, like
yeah,
and what's the guy down in Florida? That's the senator that's under all kinds of scrutiny. You see a guy like that, and then no, that's an oddity. That's just they never what portion of life did they miss out on where they know they're not supposed to act like that.
yeah. I don't know exactly what Kraft did that was so wrong, but I don't know if he like abused any of those women or what. But yeah,
Yeah,
you get to that age, it's like, geez, do
right.
you even need to go to those places anymore? I mean, just take a hot shower, and
Yeah, the Jeffrey Epstein Club. It's like
yeah, who knows if that was even real? Who the hell knows? But like, he's a real creepy. Talk about creepy.
yeah,
Holy
that's
shit.
creepy. It's just very creepy, and you wonder what the
Yeah,
hell
yeah.
happened to you.
You're video
Pragma-
recording people and blackmailing people, and I mean, how
yeah,
much of a loser can you be?
yeah, pragmaticism just kind of went right over his head.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. These politicians are the worst. Like that's the thing. As you get older, it's like your respect for politicians should go down. It's like
Yeah,
it's like
right,
like when
yeah,
I was younger, I used to like look up to like some of these politicians, but now pretty much 99.9%. Well, pretty much
right.
all of them.
Career
I
politicians.
don't have any respect for any of them. I
I
just
mean,
don't.
career
They're all these
politicians
guys.
like Mitch McConnell, Joe Biden, those guys. You got to ask yourself, what kind of experience could they possibly have?
Yeah, yeah.
Besides chasing skirts and
God, they're so
lying.
disgusting. Mitch McConnell's dated. He's married to like this hot Asian woman. Like at least she's hot for her age. And I'm like, God, it's just so gross. He's such a grossly like. Look at it. Yeah, he's got problems. That guy. Like
Yeah, it's like look at him. He looks like a retard in this. Like
he's like a retard. He represents our country. You look like a
in
retard.
our country, that's embarrassing.
He's absolutely embarrassing. He's yeah, yeah. He has no sense of what do you call it? Class. Like he's low class. Like yeah, like we can see it. And
Yeah,
I can see it. Yeah, he's like low class. Who I kind of liked as a politician was Schwarzenegger. I thought he had at least a little dignity to him. I don't know. I don't know what his policies were, but at least he carries himself like a man. At least he
yeah.
did.
What was the other wrestler that went? Jesse the Body Ventura as well. That was great.
Yeah, he was the guy that he carries himself like a man. He's not. Who know. Whatever. But yeah, guys like him and Schwarzenegger and whatever. Yeah, yeah, I like Jesse the Body Ventura. Yeah, I like him too. Yeah, but I guess, so 99.9% though are they're kind of losers, man. They're like they
Yeah,
don't care about the people. They don't care about the people. That's for sure. Like Schwarzenegger, he didn't really need to. He has enough resources. He just did it because he wanted
but
to do it.
it's that thing where it tells on most of America. It's like when you see Jared from the sandwich commercial? Didn't
Yeah.
something in your soul say that guy's weird? He's a pedophile.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Exactly. And then I wasn't even shocked. I wasn't even shocked when
I
they
wasn't even
found out.
shocked. It wasn't a big shocking moment for me when he
No.
said what he did,
No.
what he did, because I could look at the guy and see him, and you've seen him on commercial. Not you've seen him in interviews and stuff, and
Yeah.
I just looked at him and went, "There's something wrong with that guy. Can't you guys see that?
Yeah. Spaz. Yeah.
He's a spaz, and this is the guy you want people to be like."
Exactly.
Yeah, he's my best example of that thing, and then that goes into politics. So you guys can't see that person as like weird. Matt Gaetz. It's like you can't look at him and tell that guy's weird.
You say Gates? Yeah,
Yeah.
Gates. Yeah.
Yes.
And Musk too. Like look how he carries himself. He's like he sweats all the time.
Yeah.
Like, why are you sweating all the time? Zuckerberg too. I mean, I don't mind Zucker. Listen, I whatever. I don't want to make fun of these Spurs.
I think he's the insult king.
Look how much money you got. Like a guy that he has a weird looking eye, but at least Bezos carries himself with a little bit of class and dignity.
Right,
You know?
Bezos carries. He's smart and
right. And Steve Jobs too. Steve Jobs too. He carried himself with a little, some dignity.
Right. Steve Jobs was probably the best example of a guy that had a little street sense. He was smart, and he there was some
Jobs. Talking about Jobs. Steve Jobs.
Yes, Jobs and Elon Musk and
yeah.
Even the guy from Twitter, wasn't it? You look at him and you don't.
Yeah, the guy from Twitter. Yeah.
Jack
Dorsey, I think his name is. Yeah.
Yeah, you don't think Jack Dorsey's creepy. It's like
no, not at all. Like Musk though, he's like got sweat coming out of his freaking pores. Yeah. He's just. I mean, I know he's whatever. Yeah. No, you're right. I think there's something to be said about that.
Really, Giuliano, and he's sweating and it's running out. Yeah. You go, don't you guys see that there's something fucking wrong with that guy?
There's something wrong with it. He took down the mob. It's like, I was thinking about that. He took down the mob, but all he did was consolidate power for the government. That's all he did.
Yeah, that's all he did is consolidate. They became
right. And I hate to go so far as to be controversial. The mob is good, but really, in a lot of ways, the mob is good. They're good for the community in a lot of ways.
They work good for the community.
Locally. Yeah, they don't get out of line. Locally, people don't get out of line. Now with the government, the government has too much power. Let's face it. I mean, but Giuliani, that's a good example. He's definitely a spazzy type guy, and a lot of those guys, even that you start going into the females, like that Cortez chick with her crazy eyes, and what's her name? Cortez
or Juliette Lewis.
Juliette Lewis. It's hard finding dignified. It was a dignified guy. It was Mario Cuomo. Like you look at Mario Cuomo. There was a guy that had at least like physically was a guy that he carried a certain sense of class and respect. He was like
he was creepy.
Yeah, he graduated like first in his class at St. John's, and I think he was a first generation immigrant. And the guy was like super intelligent. Mario Cuomo. His son's a little different, but
what was that one girl? We always forget to mention her. She was the Superman actress girl that had the weird cult, and she got away with it. And it was. God, what was her name? You could look at her. And
give me some more information. I'll know what it is.
Allison, she had the cult.
She was like a witch or something. They said she was a witch or something.
Yeah, and
I forget her name now. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, Allison something. But you could look at her and say, "There's just something weird about the whole thing." It was like there was something wrong with her, and then it comes out that they're. Tattoo.
Well, Nixon too. There's a guy right there. The first time I saw him when I was a kid, I'm like, who the hell's that guy? He was president.
Yeah, what is that? Yeah.
Very odd. And then you look at Gerald Ford, and the guy carries himself with class.
Right. Yeah. Gerald Ford is one of my favorite. You listen to him. I used to listen to him when I was younger, 18, 19. He was always on TV and everything.
Yeah.
With his interviews with who was the Johnny Carson and those guys. When Gerald Ford was on those shows. And he did a lot of really in-depth interviews, and you're like, this guy is. When he did his interview, Gerald Ford and Saddam Hussein, and I thought, man, these are two of the most intelligent, just well put together people. What was it? I can't remember his name. He was.
Sadat.
And Wants to Die. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Gerald Ford interview. If you ever get to watch an interview, that's one of the best interviews I've ever seen in my life. Those two guys exemplified masculinity and just poise.
And even a guy that didn't show that masculinity, and I don't probably agree with anything or very few things he said, was Bill Clinton. At least he carried himself with class.
Yeah, he carried himself
with
well.
he carried himself with a certain class. I probably don't agree with 95% of what he said, but yeah.
It's one of the things that I look for in a person when I'm going to vote for him is when I see Bill Clinton, it didn't say creepy.
Right. It doesn't say creepy. Right. He's the guy you would, exactly. Maybe it's not fair for us to judge people. Like Jimmy Carter, there's a guy like, gee, he's just
Jimmy Carter too. He was a great guy. And he spoke well, and he had a weird brother, but that's not his problem. He can't pick a family.
So you found him not creepy. See, I found him physically a little creepy, but how he carried himself, you're right, probably.
Yeah, Jimmy Carter.
Even Reagan. Reagan carried himself with
carried himself very well. Yeah, I voted for Reagan back in that was like first year in the Army when Reagan was like,
yeah.
1979.
It's fun kind of speculating through their personalities or whatever. And
right.
Yeah, like some of these
because they were just normal. You could tell they were normal. There was no creepiness to it, no weirdness.
Right.
That's a matter of intuition. I do think people have there's an intuition about people in the society, and it. We're not very in touch with it anymore, like the Jared thing. If you could look at Jared and tell that guy was a pedo, it's like I'm questioning the people that couldn't see that. It's like,
well, that whole thing with if you read the transcripts and stuff that he said, I mean, young women, teenagers that he was fooling around with, it's like so disgusting, It's like wow, how could you treat people that way? It's like you're vulnerable. You're treating vulnerable teenage girls like sex objects. It's like wow, you're a real piece of crap, man.
Yeah. Hey, Mgtow Misfit, you were in a video the other day. Mike Hart's video.
Was it him? I'm not thinking of Flow. Is it Flow State? That guy, Flow State guy. He was another guy.
The Flow State.
It was him. He was another. So Flow State was. I forget what his deal. He was a guy that was married and he fought for custody with his daughter.
Mm-hmm. I find that silly because if you do Hinduism and you look into flow and you look into the existentialism of it and how it makes sense and everything, and for him to do videos like that, it's like, man, what, you don't understand nothing about that.
Yeah, because I was speculating with the guys in Discord about how sometimes these stories they're making stuff up. You can't assume. You can't just assume these videos you're watching they're actually real. This really happened. You can't just assume. Oh, this guy's saying he's making a claim that he was divorced and he fought for custody for his daughter and got his daughter back and blah blah blah. Well, you don't know that for sure.
Yeah.
So he might be making this stuff up. So you can't be so naive to think that because that's giving bad information to men, right? That I giving false hope and that they can fight for custody for their daughter and win. Yeah, but first he's not talking about how much money he paid for lawyers. He's not. You don't. First of all, you don't know if it's real. Second of all, you don't know how much. If it is real, how much money did he spend? All this other kind of stuff. And then he's saying, and then he's like pretty much making an argument that men need to. Man up. It's like that man up message. Man up, and you can find someone and have a good life with a woman.
And Flow State is his name. I think is. Yeah. I was wondering about like, did you ever read the Mahabharata or the Bhagavad Gita? It's like that's where that stuff comes from. It's that kind of idea is the flow state and getting in your flow, and there's complex ideas of existentialism that's attached to those things. But I don't care. I know who I am and how I'm not going to agree with a lot of people about things. Oh man, yeah. What was it I was talking about? Oh, that Kevin Hart, not Kevin Hart.
Oh, Mike Hart. Yeah,
Mike
Mike Hart.
Hart. Yeah, he was a real. He lasted one day in Mgtow, and then
Yeah,
he was called
yeah,
Mgtow's weak, and he lasted
yeah.
one day. As soon as we started screwing with him, it was like he was gone in one day, and then he pretended like it never happened.
Did I send you that video? Because it came on my feed. Is
Yeah,
that the one? Did I send that to you? And then we started sending them comments, and he got all
yeah.
sensitive.
He just got all. He erased his videos, and I said, no, you got to apologize to Mgtow now. Because we don't forgive and we don't forget. We need our apology. You called us names. You called us out, and
yeah.
he didn't answer. And then he took down all his videos. I wanted my apology. It's like you can't just take down the videos because we're just going to keep screwing with you forever.
Misfits talking about this judge that these judges are such pieces of shit, man. They're such
judges
garbage. They're such fucking, and they're the Spurgs. They're the ones like that look like Bill Gates or whatever, and they have they want this authority, power, and they're just pieces of. They're the guys that are just like Tortorella said. You're the guy that got. They're the guys that got beat up at the bus stop.
Yeah, most judges and lawyers, the whole system now is so out of control. They've over-examined. You overthink something. They've overthought their system, and now it's just becoming absurd.
Yeah, but yeah, it's true though, and you can kind of. You hate to judge people by appearance only, but it's how you carry yourself. Like
right.
It's how you carry yourself.
Well, there's an etiquette in the world that you should be aware of. It's probably another emotion etiquette, like how you carry yourself, how you project yourself to the world, and how you present yourself as a man. That's very important. It's probably one of those 27 subtle emotions that nobody talks about. They just kind of get stuck in the big three or something like that.
Yeah.
Well, we've been going about 2 hours and 6 minutes now.
Yeah. Good talk, and hopefully, I think. I think when I first started talking to you, it was more of like a selfish thing because I hadn't heard from you in a while. So I wanted to get some more wisdom into my life, and so I was kind of doing it for I guess selfish reasons. But now the more I'm getting into this, the more I think it just helps other men just to kind of say, hey, we're presenting an idea that hopefully will give you a better quality of life and present a different perspective. Because when you have guys like Mike Hart and Flow State, all these guys putting out these shitty videos and shitty information out there, we have to present a view that's going to really
right, and
help men, not hurt. Yeah, so I'm at that standpoint now where I feel like these videos are important just to give men a better understanding of the world, because we're not in the fantasy fiction world that they're in.
Right. They're living in a fantasy fiction world. So how much of their reality and how much of their truth could be possibly it can't, it's going to hurt somebody. And that's what we're talking about. Dangerous. It should be dangerous truths and dangerous emotions. And those guys got it all screwed up. And talk about things you should have learned at school instead of instead of a lot of the garbage they're teaching now is like we gotta re-examine our educational system and to the more modern the postmodern world we live in, and people are getting smarter, and they need truth. They don't need spirituality. They don't need religion. They don't need on truths that just make you feel better about life. You don't have to be positive about everything. Fake positivity is going to lead you down a bad road. It's lying to you. It's lying to everybody around you. And it's just not a good thing. Yeah.
You're not going to have this great life because you're going to get married and everything's going to be great.
Yeah. No. Because you believe that that's going to be a great life, and most of the time that doesn't work out. It's different inside that house. Like Dostoevsky would say, looking at it from the street is very much different than being in that house. You gain responsibility. You lose you lose your you lose your anonymity, and that may drive you away from that. You got to think about these things before you do them.
Yeah, and then the whole idea, I'll just close with this, is like for them to give you that false hope to say, oh no, you just haven't found the right person. You just haven't found the right one. You don't know your type or whatever. All this crazy shit that they're trying to. It can Kevin Samuels, and Mike Harden, that flow stick guy, like, they're planning that idea that men, oh, you just haven't found the right one.
Yeah,
and it's totally false.
Right, it's totally false, and that's where I started today with their ideas of love are horrible. What's opposite of love is more Mgtow. We're indifferent, and it's not envy, it's not jealousy, it's not fear or hatred. If they come at us and they say we just hate, they're stupid. They never thought it through. But that tells on themselves. That's what they think about the world they live in. They're living in this world that love is harmful, hate is harmful, jealousy is harmful, envy is harmful. That's the world they're living in, and they want us to come to that world. That's ridiculous. I'll just stay indifferent to it.
Yes, sir.
And maybe that's where I'll end this thing. Stay indifferent to those things that could harm you. That's what Mgtow's about. And with that, thanks everybody for coming around and listening. Mike and Hetty and Kevin and Mgtow Misfit and Jigsaw and Arcadium.
RP, don't forget RP.
And JK, did I say JK? And I think
sorry I had to kick that guy out. I just didn't like his name on his avatar, or his title. So sorry about that, buddy.
When there's something suspect about it, you have to think about it. It's intuition. You had a good intuition that there was something suspect about it. So thanks a lot for everybody coming around. You know what it is. Thanks a lot for, just being a Mgtow, because if you weren't a Mgtow and Joey wasn't here, I'd have no one to talk to. So thanks a lot for being Mgtow. Have a great rest of the day.